Last night, Vinyl started living with Vinyl Scratch. Hang on, I'm having issues. Ugh. Octavia was living pretty much with Vinyl Scratch, and she started to realize that Vinyl's odd behaviors were corresponding. Of course, this turned into a whole series of Banicula like adventures, and it ended almost horribly when Octavia exposed Vinyl by finding a bunch of blood bags left in the fridge, tried one, and ended up activating Vinyl's vampirism. She ended up getting bit and nearly drained, and holy shit, Vinyl just lost control and well, Vinyl regrets it. Really, Vinyl has regretted biting her best friend and feeding off of her for a bit, just losing all that shit. But there are bigger fish to fry, such as Octavia being asked to visit her parents and the upcoming Nightmare Night celebrations. So, let's see how life between these two have changed since Octavia has learned about Vinyl's condition. Let's get on with Chapter 6. It's called The Calm Before the Storm. And this is all told from Tabby's point of view. I should have been angry, traumatized. I had every right to be. Instead, I was fascinated. Guest starring Prince Blue Blood. No! So is Octavia a vampire, technically from that bite? Actually, Vinyl says no. Alright, let's continue on. I should have been angry, traumatized. I had every right to be. Instead, I was fascinated. Her fangs extended from her jaw, slowly growing into a pair of wicked canines hanging there like stalactites for the world to see, and just like that, they retracted back into her mouth. The irises changed from their crimson red hue to normal colors, a calm, smooth magenta that you could lose yourself in forever. I caught her sneaking glances at my bandaged neck, looking guilty. They say the eyes are the window to the soul. It's much easier to communicate with her now. I no longer found myself having to wonder what she was really thinking inside that head of hers. Whether she was laughing or crying, happy or sad, I could really see her for who she was. The real her. The way her eyes lit up with excitement or dulled with sadness. Maybe the reason why I was so mesmerized by her eyes was because I have never seen them before. She had to keep them hidden from the world behind those signature shades of hers so as to not frighten anyone with her eyes. A tendency to accidentally flicker between the magenta and red even though she didn't bare her fangs. In my humble opinion, I thought they were so freaking cool. Oh my gosh, where could I get some? I'm jealous. Pretty cool, right? Vinyl smiled. I giggled. Yes, very cool. We continued to munch on pancake, which I had to make after Vinyl somehow managed to not kill us both, trying to cook food herself. Vampire or no vampire, Vinyl was still a messy eater. Red juices stained her muzzle, dribbling down on her chin. Trust me, it's strawberry jam. Its awkward silence settled over the kitchen, and we found ourselves looking around the floor and the ceiling, unsure of what to say. I let out a cough. How do you nearly almost kill someone by cooking? Well, Vinyl's not a very good cook. She's not a very good cook. So I coughed. Vinyl! Yeah? How much do you need to drink? She frowned. I guess normally a blood bag a month. At once? I'd rather mix it with my drink or something. I looked at her aghast. You haven't slipped that into our meals, have you? A devilish smile spread across her face. Vinyl! That's disgusting! Oh, come on. You have tried it already. That doesn't mean I like the taste. Have you? Nah. I sighed in relief. Well, maybe once or twice. Final! So have you worked out some kind of deal with the hospital? Is that why they let you have someone once in a while? Her expression darkened. I can't tell you that. Oh, come on now. Is this Vampires Anonymous or something? I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you, Octavia. It's confidential. I was taken aback. I guess we all have our secrets. I looked bashfully down on my plate and murmured an apology. In any case, I'm sorry about wasting one of them. What? Oh. She waved her hoof dismissively. Don't worry about it. I think I got plenty when I, She fell silent, looking away shamefully. You know. Yes. I said a bit too loudly. When you drank. Yeah. Finally cleared her throat and took another bite of pancakes. Have you ever fed? What? I tilted my head slightly. Have you drank from a pony directly? Oh, Celestia, no. No, you were my first. And I never killed any pony, if that's what you want to know. Vina was laughing, covering her face. I sighed in relief, laughing too, but nervously. I can't be living with a murderer now, can I? I wiped my lips and said, Now you must tell me how I tasted. Her jaw dropped and she blushed furiously. I can't. I'm just curious, I laughed. Was I salty? Sweet? Bitter? She shook her head. Tell me. No! Please. Final sighed in his aspiration, rolling her eyes. You tasted nice. Sweet. I raised the eyebrow. Like candy? Or like cough syrup? I couldn't contain myself. I shook my head, laughing, pointing at her, watching her redden even more. This was absurd. This was surreal. Here I am, having a conversation with a vampire over pancakes. All right. You immortal? Heck no, and I'm glad, Vinyl said. I mean, who wants to live forever? There has to be some benefits, Vinyl. Insurance? Ooh, can you turn into a bat? No! I wish! Usual, I guess. I ended up getting some super strength. To demonstrate, she lifted up the couch with a hoof. My eyes and ears are sharper and I can smell a lot better. And I heal a bit quicker than most ponies, but it's nothing anything spectacular. And you won't go poof in the sun, will you? I asked worriedly. I'm not gonna sparkle, that's for sure. Ooh. That would have been disastrous if she did. Hey look, I am a vampire and I sparkle. Oh god, she'll probably get dumped immediately. Auntie, it's not like that. It's just really uncomfortable. It might be a nice sunny day for you, but for me it's really hot. Okay. Can I ask? When you said you loved me? I was surprised. You remember? Kinda. There's this huge blank space in my head. 1 second I was talking with you, and then I was on top of you, and your neck was gushing with blood. I never lost control like that. Must have been scary, I said quietly, idly tracing a pattern to the table. It was awful. I thought I had everything under control. This curse finally becoming manageable, but now I'm not so sure. I'm sure it'll be fine. My words were hollow and empty, but something to offer for this distressed mare. They don't mean anything. Hell, I'm not sure I believe myself. I'm afraid the next time I lose it, I'll turn into a monster, and you won't be able to bring me back. I turned to face her. Don't talk like that. It won't happen again. Panati! Shut up. She was quiet for a bit. Anyways, when you said it, it snapped me out of it, but only for a second. That kiss definitely set me straight. Did you mean it, though? Why, of course, I exclaimed, shocked. I mean it with all my heart. Cheesy as it sounded, I had. Or maybe I was desperate. I would have liked to believe that I meant what I said and said what I meant to say last night, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that they were the words of a pony whose life was in imminent danger. I would have just said anything. Will you be my very special son, Pony? Final's eyes widened in a hope. Did I really know what I was getting myself into? Would this relationship even work out? Yeesh, breaking up was already hard enough without throwing a blood-sucking mare friend into the mix. The more I thought about it, I realized the only thing stopping me was my lack of faith. While things were more liberal in Manhattan, I guess, Canterlot nobility tend to stick to more traditional values, if you get my drift. A Philly Fuller wouldn't stand a chance, and my mother would definitely not approve. But you can't keep living your life according to your mom's standards. So I sucked in. Yes, I'd love to be your very special son, Pony. You should see the look on her face now. She raised her hooves in the air, ready to implode with joy before I had to interrupt her. But I stopped her. You have to promise me something. No more secrets. No more lies. I want to know the real Final Scratch. You already know so much about me, but I don't know anything about you. Okay, I can do that. Finally. Once we Celestia. 6 freaking months. What? For you to finally get a clue. For your information, Vital Scratch, I wasn't a complete dolt the entire time. I knew that you were lying to me. I wasn't sure if I liked you back. I tried being subtle about it. Oh, please. You were about as subtle as Celestia in a banana suit. What the fuck is this about? Celestia in a banana suit. What the fuck? She then started saying yes, hopping around like a foal, repeatedly. Sit down and eat your pancakes. Yes, Mom. She didn't suck out her tongue. Oh man, I can't wait to tell Lyra. Vinyl, can we keep this on the wraps for the time being? She glanced up for the plate. Still in the shed? Some of us aren't as comfortable as you, Vinyl. You know where we are. So what? Forget Canterlot. You can kiss my flat flank for all I care. Well, her flank wasn't very fat. It was very curvy. Nice to look at. Shit, I'm getting distracted again. Easy there. Calm your luz ponies. You know what will really get their britches in a bunch? Us kissing. I choked on orange juice. We should just walk out into the street and start like making out. Vital! And we should make it extra messy. Lots of tongue action. It'll be hilarious. I looked at her with little eyes. You know, we don't need an excuse to make out. There was a glint in her eye. She shifted her chair over until she was close to give me her very own bedroom eyes. Oh, really? She tried to pucker her lips and lean in, but I stopped her. I pushed her face away from her with my hoof. First, brush your teeth and watch those fangs. Aww. But I gave her a quick peck on the cheek, and I swear she melted. How old is Van Pony Vinyl? Nearly as old as Celestia and Luna, off by a couple 800 years. No idea, says the chats. Probably a decade's worth. Who knows? all agreed that we both deserve a day off. We made a few calls, she and I were free. Free to do just about anything. She suggested to take a nap, but I wanted to cuddle, so we did both. A few times I woken up because she had been hugging me so tight she was crushing the life out of me. After takeout, we sat outside on our balcony watching the candlelight skyline. For a while, things were all right. I tried to tell myself that it was over and the worst has come to pass, but it's yet to come. We only have tomorrow to make you a proper mayor, I remind her. We'll start by getting rid of those gaudy sunglasses. She had an entire closet full of sunglasses of colors and shapes. All of them. She was more miffed over her broken glasses than the fact I tried to kill her with a silver knife. Hey! I snatched them away from her and dangled it out of her reach. She sighed. There they were their parents. Right. Are you going to tell them about us? Absolutely not, I said. They can't know. No pony can know, not yet. It's bad enough I'm a filly fooler. If word gets out I'm fooling around with a vampire. Uh-huh. Final shook her head. Very bad, bad, bad. I worked too hard to keep this a secret from everyone. So you understand. She hesitated and nodded. I understand. So let's see what chapter 7 is. First impressions. I planted a soft kiss on her snout, burrowing myself into her encircling arms deeper into that comforting embrace, pressing an ear against her warm chest. The steady thump of her heart. It's strong, everlasting. It promised so many things. Life, love. It told me she wasn't a cold-blooded monster, that we could make this work and that she was mine forever. Even I knew how impossibly stupid it sounded. How did you know when you were in love? Or that what you had was even love at all? True love. What does that even mean? It was the thoughts plaguing my wandering mind. I hear her mumbling and felt her shift her legs. Must be dreaming. Akti. Dreaming of me. How sweet. What does a vampire dream of? Her fangs started to jut from her jaw, extended. She was snapping at the air, licking her chops. No, no, she murmured, her face scrunching up. My mind flashed back to that horrifying night. I touched my neck, feeling the bandages wrapped around it. I closed my eyes, whimpering. I recalled with clarity how helpless I felt. What I have seen, what I smelled, touched, tasted. Her looming form above me, a predatory grin across her face. The pinch as her canines pierced my flesh. The throbbing in my neck as warm blood oozed from the puncture wounds. The metallic bitter taste of my own blood mixed with her saliva as I kissed her. Her face, twisted with anguish, hot salty tears streaming down her face. Her sobs racking through her body as I held her. It hit me like a tongue of bricks. Well, more like a buck to the face. Final tried to kill me, bitten my jugular, and I almost bled out. I had tried to edit that out, pretending that things were all right, but they weren't. By a stroke of luck, I managed to not die. The worst part was that I didn't know how to feel. Maybe it was the shock that had stopped me from thinking things through, stopping me from screaming bloody murder as she fed on me. Let me forgive and forget all too easily. Had we rushed into things? Was it all just part of us being young and stupid, quickly to jump into things, throwing our hearts in first before our heads? If so, were we allowed to be young and stupid and make mistakes? I like to think of myself as a sensible mayor, but after the past few days, I wasn't so sure anymore. I felt like a novice, inexperienced for my age. My rudimentary knowledge of how love worked was based off of trashy chick flicks and romance novels. You know, the vampire one that got me into this whole mess in the first place. This was my first relationship, and with another filly, no less. I was pretty sure Vinyl had romantic dealings with other ponies in the past, but that didn't concern me in the slightest. What bothered me was why we were attracted to each other. Why we even liked each other in the first place. Did our mutual love for our passion in life and music bringing us together? Who knows? Something more, maybe? To be honest, I don't have a clue. It transcended physical appearances clearly. Octavia, you idiot. Yes, I was an imbecile. Can you never be satisfied with what you already have? Is it enough that you won her heart? I guess not. Brooding again. What a mess. I didn't want to have to think. It just hurts. Wake up, sleepyhead. Get up, Vinyl. We got a big day ahead of us. Today's it. I'm up, she mumbled, her face buried in a pillow. We've agreed to put some distance between each other as we stroll through Candlelight. The streets paved with gold, smiling and giggling every once in a while as we brush up against each other, skipping around like fools, laughing at the nobles, their ridiculous hats and noses in the air. Here we are, I said, pointing to a clothing store. I was never one for dresses, as you could tell by a simple bow tie. They hindered my movement and make it really impossible to stand up to play cello. Any pony who is any pony, or at least those who afford it, wouldn't be caught deading wearing everything but the Carousel Boutique. We unfortunately could not afford a custom-made dress. I prefer simplicity. Vinyl disliked wearing dresses altogether. So we agreed on a simple evening gown. I'm black, and hers is navy blue. Vinyl sniffed her laughter as I was fitted. But when I emerged from the changing room, I saw her jaw drop. Hot! And then it was Vinyl's turn. I found myself having to reread outdated magazine articles detailing last year's gala. Candlelight nobility for you. They never forgive and never forget. Seemed that Vinyl intended to make the process as painful and drawn out as possible. The seamstress was having all sorts of trouble with Vinyl, who was seemingly incapable of remaining still for 3 seconds more. Hooves tangled up in the measuring tape, all that. After she'd been fitted and sent to the changing room, I found myself clipping coupons from advertisements. Are you done? How long does it take to put on a dress? I bristled. Why do we even have to wear them? Vinyl moaned from the changing room. Because not wearing them would be indecent, I answered, flipping through the magazine. Even though we don't normally wear clothes anyway. But we're always naked! Just put on a dress, Vinyl. The sound she made sounded like a pregnant hippo going into labor. Flattering. There aren't many words to describe her. Delicate? Hardly. Not delicate. Calling Vital Scratch delicate will be an insult to the delicate things like flowers and that one mare Fluttershy. She's not graceful either. She's about as graceful as a cow and was liable to trip over her own hooves. Are you done? She lets out a whine. I look so stupid. You better not laugh. I will. The door unlocked and she stepped through. My jaws turned to drop. I told you I looked dumb, she pounded. But she was absolutely stunning, clad in a flowering blue evening gown, all velvety and attractive. Accentuated her natural curves. Formal, classy. It was perfect. My mouth watered at the sight of her in her dress. Dee? She waved a hoof in front of my face. You look amazing. Her cheeks were tingled with a faint blush. Thanks, you too. Well, you look the part. Now you must act like it. You must carry yourself with a monochrome of grace and sophistication. I struck a valiant pose. Octavia, what the hell are you doing? The magics. We go. Basically, like, okay, whoa. Like, whoa. By simply walking through Canterlot, you would find that there were a multitude of cafes on every street corner. We chose a rather elegant restaurant, relaxing on our cushions outside underneath an umbrella. Sit up straight. Oh, I don't understand why we don't talk with her mouth full. Even with her glasses on, I could tell she was frustrated. She swallowed. Why do I have to pretend I'm all high class? It's not my style. Because if my parents disapprove of you, regardless of what I say, they're going to make my life difficult. So, and in turn, yours will be a living Tartarus. Reminds me, try to confine your vocabulary to traditional equestrian for the night. Hey, don't say that. Roger, what did you just say? Gotcha. Vital! Jesus. We went from fucking Bunnicula to fucking... What's that one movie? The Princess Diaries? In the blink of an eye, night descended upon Canterlot. The calm before the storm had passed, and now we're on rocky waters. After a rather steamy shower session, we both donned dresses. I hate makeup, Auntie. Just bear with it, Vinyl, I said, dabbing a little blush on her face. I look like a clown. She actually looked absolutely breathtaking. Regardless, even if she was a clown, she's mine. I patted her mane affectionately. Now help me put on my tie, I told her. And make sure you hide the bandages well. The last thing I need is my parents asking more questions. So, using her magic, she fastened it around my neck snugly. I caught her staring at the bandages, her eyes cast down. When she said nothing, I walked over to the mirror adjusting it. There, not too shabby. You'll only be able to see it if you're that up close. She nodded glumly. I gave her a quick peck on the cheek. Now come on, and smile. When she gave me a half-hearted grin, I grabbed her cheeks, stretching them wider into a painfully fake smile. Down the stairs to the first floor of the apartment complex, I hailed for a carriage. As we boarded, I nearly slipped, Vinyl caught and pulled me up. I blushed faintly. We can't have any of that during the dinner, I reminded her. Are you ready? Vinyl shrugged. As ready as I'll ever be. Remember not to take too long when ordering. Just long enough. No alcohol or blood. Shh. Are we going to that snooty upper crust place again? Yes, Vinyl. How are my eyes? Beautiful. She rolled hers. We sat in silence for the rest of the short ride. A long line of ponies stood outside the fancy restaurant, waiting for a table. We'd already been informed that reservations had been made. As we strolled in, we saw ponies murmur and mock our dresses. The interior architecture was royal, about as elegant as the royal accommodations in the castle, dimly lit and crowded. The cutler paddled at the tables and chairs and cushions were gold and ivory. We walked up to the waiter. Reservations for Octavia and Vinyl Scratch? He then regarded us as if we're bugs and pointed to the farthest corner of the room, not even bothering to lead us there. Dude, you look just like your mom, Vinyl whispered as we trotted. And your dad. What? I harumphed. Are you telling me that I'm old and wrinkly and have gray hair? Vinyl was quick to qualify. I mean, you were her splitting image. She's got your mane and coat and eyes. Is that supposed to be a compliment? I mean, look at her. She's got the smile. She even has that same smirk. What smirk? The I'm so much better than you one that you always put on when you play cello. I whacked her lightly. As we got closer, I could hear Vinyl ask, Octavia, your parents are both... Shh. Hello, Octavia, a haughty voice sounded. And there she was, that wretched mare. Hello, mother, I said. Hello, father. Octavia, so glad you can make it, he said pleasantly. His voice is always a bored drone. And this must be your roommate, she said. Hello, ma'am, Vinyl said smoothly, her voice no longer rough and masculine. Pleased to meet you both. Good job, Vinyl. We took our seats next to each other, but not too close. But just close enough for me to squeeze her hoof underneath the table. I gave her a reassuring smile. She smiled back, a bit nervous. I could already see her sweating bullets. Why was she nervous? Oh yeah, I am. This is going to be a long-ass dinner. Okay, never mind. Okay, where was I? Oh yes. It was one of the few times I actually felt grateful to be like an horn despite me sticking out like a sore hoof. I actually was starting to feel sorry for Vinyl Scratch. There are nearly a dozen different types of folks. Oops. Forks, spoons, and knives, all specifically suited to eat a particular dish on silk napkins. Lacking the ability to levitate objects meant that as a lowly earth pony, I was forgiven for even eating messily. I caught her staring at my parents' horns. I squeezed her hoof tightly. Things got off to the kind of start that made you wonder why you even said yes. What made you think it was even a good idea in the first place? If there was ever a time to get absolutely wasted, this was it. Pleased to make your acquaintance, Miss Scratch. Or would you prefer I call you by your stage name, DJ Pony? Vinyl Scratch is perfectly fine, she said without a beat. Tell me, Octavia, darling, how did you two meet? I cleared my throat, looking up from the menu that I studied for the past 5 minutes, keeping an ear turned towards the conversation. As you know, Mother, I found myself financially challenged. After the gala fiasco, yes, I'm aware. I moved to Manhattan, so it was all I could afford at the time. I didn't understand why you did not simply move back in with us, dear, my father suddenly said. I bit back with a retort. I bit back my retort. Why did you think? If I found myself to be stricken without poverty, unemployed, and not a bit to my name, starving and cold in the streets, I still would have slept on the sidewalk rather than come crawling back to home to them. Well, I wanted to be financially independent, I smirked. Your wardrobe certainly reflects that, she smirked. My face fell slightly, keeping my expression neutral. Says the mayor wearing more frills and lace than a lingerie store with a husband who looks like a fucking penguin. I'm adding some words to this, but you know that that Octavia is very, very pissy. She's really unpleasant. As with having to deal with parents who you probably do not like. A brief respite came when the waitress came to take our orders for appetizer, gazing down upon Vinyl and I as if we were the dregs of society. Cool, I'll have some garlic, hold the garlic, and can I have a glass of water? The desire to give myself permanent brain damage was overwhelming. I'll have what she's having, I simply said, with some scotch. I was going to need something strong. This lady has skipped past some sparkling water and gone straight to scotch. This is Alistair's favorite kind of pony. I remember he likes single malt whiskey. Scotch, he chuckled. I believe we raised the mare with expensive taste, my dear. Such strong alcohol, I continued, as I was saying. And you said you made Vinyl where? I paled and squeaked. In a club. A nightclub, dear. I told you better than that. Mom was giving me the look. A disappointed, disapproving look that was meant to shame me. There were some extenuating circumstances, I nearly shouted, slightly panicked. My Vinyl in the club. Were you drinking? She inquired. To be fair, we were absolutely smashed beyond belief. Not at all, Mother. I'm not that type of mare, and neither is Vinyl. She smirked, seemingly satisfied. Good. I'd like to get you to know a little bit more, Vinyl, if you don't mind. Of course. Our appetizers came, and I realized all too late that I had gotten bread and butter. Imagine being able to eat using only your mouth. Butter, margarine, they're all the same. Incredibly delicious, fattening, and messy. I decided to settle for the bread as I saw Vinyl's horn glow. Sorry. The horn is glowing, not growing. I don't want to fucking put that image there just yet. Vinyl held a piece near my face. Have a bite. She was trying to feed me. I wanted to die right there on the spot. I laughed a bit too loudly. Oh, Vinyl. It would have been a faux pas for me to refuse, so I leaned over and took a dainty bite. What would you like to know? Vinyl asked. Anything you'll be comfortable with telling us. Vinyl paused. Well, I was born in Ponyville, lived there for 18 years, and set out to pursue my music career in Manhattan and occasionally Canterlot. Good job, Vinyl. The answer was vague enough as to not be specific, but enough to keep a conversation going. I found myself a little interested in her background myself, having no knowledge prior to our meeting in Manhattan. Ponyville born? Huh. How's Ponyville? My mother was hoping for an answer to justify a prejudice against backwards country bumpkins. Ponyville was great. Really cozy. Tight-knit community. Everyone knew each other. Not like Canterlot. And what would you all be having tonight? The waitress rudely interrupted. I'll have the potato salad and corn on the side. The stir-fry, please, I said. She works as a DJ in Club Canterlot, I continued, hoping that the prestigious nature of the nightclub would impress her. A disc jockey? Not only a disc jockey, I throw in. She also produces her own music. You heard of the song Equestria Girls? She worked on that song with one of the elements of harmony, isn't that right, Vinyl? Yeah, Pinky sang the vocals. The element of laughter. Well, what an honor. Mother's eyes raised. Quite the one-hit wonder, I must say, though I'm afraid I'm not much of an enthusiast of pop music. The way she said it made it sound like it was worse than death. The off-hoof comment about Vinyl's song being a one-hit wonder made my blood boil. It was insulting, but Vinyl oddly took it in stride. Thank you. I could scarcely go outside without hearing it, my father added snidely. I asked Vinyl innocently. I believe you did a fashion show in Ponyville as well? Yes, for Miss Rarity. I met her through my mother, who connected us together. My mom's a fashion photographer, you see. That got my mother's attention. An honor! Carousel Boutique Fashion is quite prestigious in Canterlot. And for a while, our conversation ended, leaving an awkward pause with the musing and chatter in the background to fill the silence as we ate. Vinyl stabbed her fork into her dish, taking a bite with a loud, obnoxious crunch. I cringed, glaring at her. Vinyl, I thought you ordered a potato salad. Vinyl thankfully swallowed and wiped her lips before answering. I did. Potato chip salad. I never thought potato chip salad was an option. What would be a potato chip salad anyway? The velocity at which my skull would have collided with the table would have been enough to send Vinyl and I on a vacation to the moon. Enough speed left over for a round trip. Vinyl and I got to know each other and we started to hang out a bit more, I explained, leaving out plenty of details. Hang out? Oh, just some classic concerts, discussion on music theory. She suggested that we move in together and find a bigger, better apartment, and we've been together ever since, I smiled, closing my eyes in a satisfied manner. She raised an eyebrow. I meant living together, not together. That would be quite improper of me to suggest that she and I were well together. But Mother gasped. Your neck! I choked, covering it immediately. The bandages! What an equestria happened to your neck? Don't worry, we were horsing around the other day, Vinyl said, coming to the rescue. I jumped in. Yep, just us two getting a little too friendly, tangled up, nothing to worry about. Mother eyed us suspiciously. Show me. Here. Is it a bruise? A cut? I stammered. I don't think the other guests would appreciate having blood everywhere. I saw Vinyl lick her lips at the thought. Did you go to the hospital? Goodness, it sounds severe. Subject change. Now! Okay. So, what's for dessert? Let's skip ahead a little bit. This is fucking painful. Ow, fuck. I think my throat... I think I pulled a muscle in my throat and it hurts to swallow. I felt sorry for Vinyl to have to listen to their mindless drivel about the superiority of unicorns as opposed to the other types of ponies out there. We spend the next half hour, poking at her dessert, because this is the best cheesecake in all of Equestria, crafted with only the finest ingredients, topped off with the freshest fruits, nearly rivaling the Princess Lassia's personal chef's cooking. I leaned down, trying to angle my mouth so as to not get frosting everywhere. I took a bite and leaned back up. Delicious. Vinyl giggled. What? I said. There was a dollop of frosting on my nose. She leaned in, and for a second I thought she was going to lick it off, but instead she wiped it off and grinned. Such a shame Octavia wasn't born with a horn, my mother lamented. Yeah? Vinyl said, not exactly agreeing. She looked about ready to crack. I considered using a knife to lobotomize myself. I decided a fork would be better suited to my purposes. Although I think it's amazing how far she's come despite her disability. Just eat the cake, Octavia. Don't say a word. Don't say a word. Ouch, my father exclaimed, rather lamentably examining his hoof. I suppose that was what you got for trying to eat cheesecake with a fork and knife. I believe I've cut myself. He used the napkin to wipe his incredibly minuscule cut. 100 bits they're going to sue. Vinyl sucked in sharply, her eyes a faint tinge of red. I could see her lip quivering. I followed her gaze to the silk cloth where there was a drop of blood. She clenched her jaw and shut her eyes. Oh no. Is there something the matter? Nothing, it's nothing. I grabbed Vinyl's hoof and pulled her along. She needs a moment. She hooked her arm around my neck as I pulled her along. I'm fine, she growled, struggling. Where's the nearest bathroom? Thank you, I blurted. I bucked open the door and threw us both in. I turned on the sink and splashed Vinyl's face with ice-cold water. Vinyl? Are you right? I thought you were fed. I did, she grunted, her face tense. You know how it is with those vampires. Warm blood bags everywhere. Don't say that. You're going to be all right. She didn't look all right. The sight of fresh blood was enough to send her into a frenzy. She slumped to the tiles, her fangs extended and her eyes crimson. She was moaning, clenching to the side of her head, as if she was trying to psychologically fight off the bloodlust. I squeezed her hoof as tight as I could, never leaving her side. Finally, after a breather, I think I'm going to be okay. Really? It's fine. I probably should have taken a sip before we left. Well, it's not like you anticipated this. I helped her to her hoof slowly, holding on to her and not letting go. Hati, she mumbled, her head cast down. Hey, shut up. I kissed her on the lips, slightly perplexed as to why our eyes were wide with horror. Vana was looking right past me at something and tried to murmur something as our lips were locked. What? She pointed behind me. What are you... I turned around and realized that we should have locked the door behind us. My mother is there and started to scream. I barely had any time to open my mouth and scream myself before Vinyl dashed up to her and slammed her hoof to the side of her head. Mother crumpled and collapsed, laying on the floor, breathing and miraculously alive. She just punched my mom. What did you... So her mother came into the bathroom, saw them kissing, and I guess Vinyl was like, Yeah, no, and just fucking got up and just conked her. I struggled for words. What? Why did you... Man, I've been waiting to do that, Vinyl says, shaking the paint from her hoof. No offense, but your mom is kind of an ass. Vinyl? I want to... Oh, you're gonna give me a hug there, Auntie? No, to bitch slap you! Holy shit! Oh, Murphy's Law really went into effect here. And we started with Banicula, then we dealt with the Princess Diaries, and now it feels like Meet the Parents. With a vampire. And now we're on to Chapter 9, Secrets and Lies. We'll go up to Chapter 11. These chapters normally are kind of short. It was pretty pathetic of me to even try, lest I forget Vinyl's a vampire gifted with super strength. She was right there to remind me, holding me away with one hoof as I attempted to whack her to no avail. I instantly resorted to flaming my arms around like a madman. You done? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? First off, calm down, she commanded. As she pushed me off and slapped me. I gawked, touching my cheek. Now hear me out for a second. When I tried to speak, she pressed her hoof to my mouth. Listen, your mom only saw us making out. How is that a good thing? She shoved a hoof into my mouth, hushing me, ears twitching, craning her head to the door. You hear that? I shook my head. No pony heard her screaming, which is good. We got about 3 minutes before your dad starts asking questions. I blinked. Certainly not the Vinyl I had been talking to a few seconds earlier, vulnerable and succumbing to her bloodlust. She was most certainly not the loud and proud disc jockey either. This is another side. A calm, collected, and cool Vinyl Scratch. Unnerving to see her like this. In a way, I was frightened. She was emotionless, pragmatic, and almost methodical now. She didn't see your fangs, I stated, or your eyes. It was as if a huge load had been taken off my back. Vinyl shook her head, grateful as well, and for a second I thought to myself that things were going to be alright. But reality came crashing down upon me like an anvil out of a cartoon, and reality is a cruel mistress. But now she knows I'm a filly fuller. I'm doomed. She'll be disowning me. She rumbled, rubbing her forehead. Look, either we tell her the truth, not a chance. And then we're going to have to cover this up. So you're going to have to help me move her body. The more I thought about it, it dawned upon me that there was more to her than meets the eye. It was almost as if I was looking down the iridescent lenses of Vinyl's sunglasses, putting on a different pair, and looked at her from a different angle each time. Hey! Vinyl's stern voice shook at me through my thoughts. I can't move your mom's fat flank all by myself. Even as she said this, I could see her smiling. What are you doing? Hiding the body, of course. Kidding. Her eyes were lit with amusement. I'm kidding. Your mom will be fine. Mostly fine, I think. I glared at her as I helped position her in a way that suggests she collapsed near the sink. I cringed as I saw my body slip. Hold on. Ooh. I glared at her as I helped her position in a way that suggested that she had collapsed near the sink. I cringed as I held my mother's limp body, dragging her over. Are you alright? Asked Vinyl. Me? I cracked in an unstable grin, quaking. I'm fine! You're shaking. What are you talking about? I laughed nervously, rubbing one leg against each other. Just sit down. When I refused to oblige, she forced me down on my haunches. Relax. Breathe. Okay. Well, I get queasy at the sight of blood. That'll work. Final? She ignored me. Your mom came in here just as you were helping me out, and one of the employees had. Her eyes wandered. She spotted a vase of flowers. Using her magic, she yanked the wilting lilies out and dumped the water all over the tiles. Mopped the floor and forgot to put a wet floor sign. She slipped. She bumped her head against the edge of the sink. I don't want anyone to get fired over this. Do you want to do this or not? That was cold. I was shocked. Yes? Work with me. Now, how do we explain what she saw? She was drunk. Something tells me this is your first time doing this. I received a grumble response. Drunk, under the influence of alcohol. One problem with that, Vinyl. She wasn't drinking. Or we're going to have to roll with it. Before I had any time to even inquire how she was going to convince everyone, including my mother, that she'd been drinking enough to be hallucinating, she continued. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to scream as loud as you can. In 15 seconds, ponies are going to come flooding in here asking questions. I nodded. There's no point in asking, and I wasn't going to get a straight answer if I did. I'm just wasting my breath. I realized a long time ago Vinyl was as sly as a fox. Keep your mouth shut and not a word. Let me do all the talking. Are you trying to make me laugh? You're trying too hard. No, not really. I don't think so. All right. She counted down to me. Okay, don't look scared. 3, 2, 1. I let out the most terrifying, blood-curdling scream I could possibly muster, my mind flashing back to when Vinyl lost control and attacked me. She mouthed, "Very nice." I was surprised to see tears running down her face until she winked. Perhaps she should have gotten a cutie mark in theatrical arts. Lo and behold, in 15 seconds, several ponies came rushing in, including the manager and my father. I was crouched down by my mother's side. Vinyl tearfully explained to them that what had allegedly happened, including a dramatic recreation of how my mother slipped and bumped her head. They ate it up, hook, line, and sinker. I would have been so impressed if I wasn't worried for my mother. Don't get me wrong, just because she was my mother didn't change the fact she was a pompous, overbearing wretch of a mare. But she grabbed my hoof, jerking her head toward the exit, mouthing, "Come on!" They say blood is thicker than water. Well, the full thing okay, real quick, guys. The full thing is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Friendship's a little bit more stronger than family. A little bit. Which is really true in this case, considering Vinyl and Octavia's friendship is a little bit stronger than the relationship between Octavia and her fucking mother. A little bit of lesson here, folks. Now, let's skip forward. "Thank you," I said, "for everything. We moved like shadows through the night. We're running like the shadows of the night." I can't sing well. I clung on the Vinyl as she led us back home, sharp eyes accustomed to the darkness. We stopped. Vinyl stared at me for a bit, probably wondering why I was in such a wistful mood. I smiled back at her earnestly. "No problem," she said slowly. "I don't know what I could have done." She kissed me. "Don't mention it, really. Sorry for taking your mom in the face." "Quite all right. I think any sane pony would have done that a long time ago. I'm not so sure if it was such a good idea. But, you can't always run from your problems." "I'm sorry? It's not like I can keep it a secret forever, that you're a filly fooler. The folks are going to find out eventually, one way or the other." I studied my hoof contemplatively. Did I really care what my parents knew? Would it change anything between us? Was it worth keeping all the secrets and lies just to hide something trivial as our relationship? I shook my head. Like it or not, nearly all of my employers were Candlelaw nobility, and it wasn't fair to the rest of our quartet for me to ruin our jobs. I huffed. We all have our secrets. Guess I have to learn to keep one too. Final pause. See, the thing about secrets is that they don't stay secret for long. I mean, look at me. She laughed wearily, her eyes red and fangs extended. Even if it's true, I can still try. We climbed the stairs, tired, burnt out from the evening's events. Vinyl, would it be okay if I asked how'd you get this way? Vinyl laughed bitterly. A vampire, huh? She turned to me. Maybe you'll get your answer someday. I felt compelled to comfort her. I hugged her as hard as I could, whispering sweet nothings in your ear, promising to never let go. T, Vinyl gasped. Could you let go just this once? Next morning, we both stared at each other's arms as our coat and manes are messy and unkempt and disheveled. Or disheveled. Ding dong. You get it, I grumbled, pushing Vinyl with my hoof, not bothering to open my eyes. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Vinyl, get the door, I demanded. Oh, yeah. Without warning, I shoved Vinyl with my hoof, watching her tumble and roll over the edge of the bed and the sheets. I've overlooked one slight problem with my solution to our more pressing issue of who was at the door. I found myself being pulled along for the ride, tangled up in the blankets, yelping as I lay right next to Vinyl on the floor. She stuck out her tongue. Ha ha! Owned. Shut up. We untangled ourselves, giggling. I squealed even louder when I fed Vinyl, nipping my ear, and I shoved her away. I smoothed out my mane, cleared out my throat as I went down the hall with Vinyl standing behind me as I opened the door. Hell, I was sent flying, bowled over by rude guests with a bright flash. Photo finish, have arrived. Just in the previous chapter, we were just referencing you. I craned my head up from my vantage point on the ground, feeling the onset of a splitting headache. Photo finish? And behind her, hoity-toity. It's a travesty, is what it is. Hoity? For most ponies, these two fashion magnets would have been a prestigious honor and would have included a reaction of screaming, squealing, and jumping up and down. In a way, we were all celebrities. My name had meaning, at least. It used to. At least. I fucking can't. In music, DJ Pony was a household name nowadays. Hoity-toity had his own line of designer suits, and Photo, well, she has her own magazine. I was hardly impressed, nor starstruck at their appearance, merely surprised as to why would it come making such a personal visit. I had met both of them before on numerous occasions at many of the venues I performed at. They were both eccentric and rather unconventional in how they conducted business and went about with their public image. Hey, Mom and Dad. My eyes bulged and my jaw dropped. Hoity-toity and Photo finish is her mother and father. As they all had their little family reunion, I just couldn't help but stare. It makes sense. I stared at the three of them, my eyes growing more and more aware the longer I stared as I could see the uncanny resemblance. Alabama 100, says Zachary. Come on, Sid, make yourselves at home. Vinyl, can I talk to you? I dragged her by her mane to the kitchen and hissed at her. You never told me your parents were hoity-toity and photo finish. You never asked, she shrugged. Never before had I wanted to hit her so badly. My eye was twitching. Weren't you paying attention last night? I took a slow, deep breath to regain my composure. Do they know? She gazed at me, her purple eyes flashing red for a brief moment. They do, she admitted. Really? Try not to call us vampires. Dad thinks it's more of a condition than anything. You mean your parents are? She nodded. So apparently, Photo finish and hoity-toity are also vampires. A vampire family, sweet Celestia. It was like they were all one big happy blood-sucking family. Which explains why photo finish was always covered up in a gaudy dress wherever she went, and the sunglasses. The room was spinning. I felt confused, deceived. A week ago, I could barely comprehend the existence of vampires. Now it seems like they've been able to infiltrate the top echelons of equestrian society. I was in over my head. This was crazy. Non-stop insanity since I got involved with the insufferable DJ. What a fool I was to get involved in all this madness. You know we wouldn't hurt you, Octavia, Miles said honestly. Right, of course. Now where did I put that silver? The first thing that came out of the fashion photographer's mouth when she saw us together was, "Oh, you two make such a wonderful couple." I paled. I assure you that Vinyl and I are nothing of the sort. Give it a rest, Octi. They already know, Vinyl sighed. I blinked. There was a strange feeling, being accepted and not being judged, being allowed to be myself. I relaxed visibly, no longer feeling the need to put up false pretenses for the sake of appearance. So you are the filly who has stolen my daughter's heart, Hoity-toity proclaimed dramatically. Very classy. Quite the catch, dearie. He winked, tilting his shades. Thanks, Dad, Vinyl beamed. So very nice to meet you both. Now for Chapter 10. Well, we'll finish up with 11. Meet the bloodsuckers. As opposed to meet the Fockers. Did you know what vampires like to eat for breakfast? Eggs sunny side up and a toast and a little sweet apple acres jam on the side. Not a drop of blood in sight. Vinyl never asked me to incorporate blood into our meals, and the thought was rather unappetizing. So why am I sitting there having breakfast with a family of vampires? What was I really doing? Improvising? I don't know. I wanted to scream at the top of my lungs. Here they are! Vampires! Real ones! A friendly visit out of the blue less than 12 hours after the disaster at the upper crust. I might have been dense as a cinder block when it came to relationships, but it would take an ass not to see some sort of correlation. I guess I was trying to accommodate them, make them feel comfortable, giving them a reason not to turn my body into a withered husk. It seemed to have the opposite effect, judging by the looks on their faces when I asked them if they wanted some. But something to drink besides orange juice. They must have thought I was blind or stupid as I caught them sneaking further glances across the table, and I started to wonder if vampires could telepathically communicate with one another. Perhaps they were planning to kill me now. An awkward silence settled over the cramped kitchen as we ate. I poked my breakfast, not feeling too hungry. A little sick, a little tired. Combination of the two. There was a thrum in the back of my head, a constant ache. Life used to be simple. And then a cough happened. It's a good thing you know how to cook, Hoity-toity praised. I don't know where our daughter would be without you. I ran, taking the compliment. Thank you. Hey, Vinyl said, there's nothing wrong with cup noodles. 3 times a day, Photo finished inquired. The story of Photo and Hoity was a rather touching one. That feel-good, heartwarming, rags-to-riches sort of thing. A real fairy tale with a happy ending, after all. The kind you find in a full storybook. 2 earth ponies from Ponyville who are hardly extraordinary or spectacular, both having an eye of fashion. Through the forces of fate, love, or plain convenience, 2 came together, forming a partnership, working their way to the top of Equestria's fashion industry. Striking it rich in Camelot, their shrewd business aptitude and innovation. In a way, I envy their success. Did Vinyl ever tell you about her mane? Pardon? I mean, just look at us. Isn't it not obvious? Vinyl dyed her mane. That said unicorn nearly did a spectate as she chugged her orange juice. After much coughing and wheezing, she whined exasperatingly, Mom! Really now, do tell. Hoity chortled. Is it chortled? Huh. Was that Trump reference? No. They started it from the bottom, worked their way up. Trump just got $1 million and went with it. Oh, yes, darling, I remember that day. I couldn't help but laugh seeing her parents embarrass her. I covered my mouth with my hoof. She saved up all her bits. You know, her mane used to look like a little cotton ball. Dad, don't tell her, Vinyl flushed, sinking beneath the table, ready to die from the embarrassment. Ach, yes, I remember when you tried to comb her hair. You lost the comb. She came home with that spiky haircut and a blue mane. I thought it was unique. Hoyt agreed. Such style and flair. We shared a small chuckle at Vinyl's expense. She looked ready to kill, and she would have made the cutest murderer with that blush. Please don't say that, especially considering what happened those few days ago. If you don't mind me asking, I said, feeling braver than usual, examining my hoof, why have you come to visit? I cannot come see my daughter when I miss her, Photo Finish pouted. Something glowered at her. You're telling me you just came to visit out of the blue. I sighed. Many pony think my accent is fake. However, it's very real, much like the place from where my family hails from. Much like how things like vampires and werewolves are real. I glanced up, staring at her, hearing a key word. Judging by the bandages on your neck, I'm sure you're aware of Vinyl's predicament. She pulled off her trademark hot pink sunglasses, brushing her straight bangs from her face, opening her blood-red eyes. Hoity-toity followed suit, taking off his and revealing the crimson behind him. I couldn't help but gasp when I saw a pair of fangs poke out from under the lips. And I'm sure by now you know what all three of us are. Hoity said, we are terribly sorry about what happened to your mother, Octavia. A slip or fall like that. She whacked Octavia up the head with an audible smack. What have I told you about being more careful? I winced. Vinyl hissed. Ouch, Mom! We came to apologize, first and foremost, Octavia, darling. Photo finished. For Vinyl and for what she did to your mother. Now that's cold wire, all right. How about it, Anne? Her accent was rough. You must understand, we must do what is necessary to protect our own. Of course. We want to come here to offer our blessings and say that we would never ever harm any pony. Thank you. If it's not out of line, may I ask how you two came to be? Vampires, Hoity said. I was originally not a vampire, Octavia. Of course, when I found out my wife was one... He laughed softly, winking at Photo Finish. There's a reason why they call them love bites, my dear. He grinned toothly like a shark. I touched my neck as he said those words, the color draining from my face. I don't want to even think about it. Don't worry, it takes a lot more than just being nipped. A nip? Is that what they called it? I tried not to go into the details, seeing as we are eating. Why, thank you. Excuse me while I go scream my fucking head off. And how have you managed to subsist like this? Surely the hospitals are unwilling to give out blood packs whatever you ask. Hold on. We gotta sneeze. And how have you managed to subsist like this? Surely the hospitals are not willing to give out blood packs whenever you ask. Hoity said with a glint in his eye, a little money can go a long way in the city, Octavia. So long as how much we ask for is in reason and doesn't overstep a quota, they have no issue. This condition is more widespread than you think. I'm sorry. Octavia and I are thinking the exact same thing. Are you suggesting there are more out there? Of course, we all know each other personally. Like the gorgeous model Fleur. Fleur de Lis, the supermodel, is a fucking vampire. How do you think she maintains that youthful appearance? Head spinning, about to throw up. Oh, sweet Celestia. You don't have to forgive me, I stammered. It's just that it's hard taking this all in at once. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let me talk about something much, much more serious. I called, my eyes shrinking to the size of pinpricks. We simply must know more about you, Octavia, Photo Finish cried. If you were to be my daughter's mare friend. Now hold on, Vinyl and I haven't done anything outside of walking next to each other on the sidewalk. What if I told you we weren't together? Rumors spread like wildfire, dear, Photo Finish said as she was speaking to a foal. Surely you of all ponies know that. Plus, any pony with a pair of eyes and a brain could tell you that you both are in love, Hoity scoffed. It was new having to talk about myself for a change. Besides vinyl, I kept a very professional manner when in the public eye, remaining silent and taciturn, with a cold, stoic expression on my face. My job was to perform and not to speak. In any case, what was there to talk about? I was born into a family of unicorns, a father who owned an entire company selling musical instruments, and a mother who only married for his money. Raised in Canterlot as an earth pony, always being treated like second-class citizen, years and years spent grooming me to become a proper mayor, including music lessons. My instrument of choice was a cello. When I wasn't in school, I was practicing. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. If I didn't, why would my cutie mark even be of a treble clef? It was just tedious, dreary at times. If you play an instrument, you know what I mean. First the scales, then your repertoire. A lonely childhood, really. Let's skip forward a little bit. It was a pleasure to meet you two. They shook my hood vigorously, proving that they were indeed incredibly strong. A pleasure to meet you as well, hoity-toity said, right before his wife snagged a leg around his neck, dragging him away. Wiggle! I closed the door behind me, signing. Vinyl rubbed a hoof awkwardly. Sorry about that, they're kind of weird like that, even if they weren't vampires. I shook my head. Don't say that, they love you. If they have a funny way of showing it. She said nothing. Anyways, don't you have to go to rehearsals today? I have to go to rehearsals every day, I said with a huff, strolling aimlessly around the foyer. It's the same thing, over and over. I've only missed 2, maybe 3 days. I'm so out of it I can't even count. Sorry. What was you sorry for? Don't be. I should be. I'm the one dragged you into a blasted restaurant in the first place. I know. Thanks for the boost, Vinyl. You need to work tonight? Yeah, Club Canterlot can't run without DJ Pony. Right. I need to replace your purple sunglasses. It's cool. No, they were her favorite pair. Where are they? She tilted her head towards the kitchen island, where the frame sat next to a fruit bowl. One of the lenses were completely shattered, and the frame was particularly cracked. I guess I don't know my own strength. I was good at breaking things. So far, I had taken out her lenses, a vanity mirror. I shattered an illusion of my own comfortable world where vampires and werewolves and monsters didn't exist, and I wasn't a feeling fooler. My parents actually acted like they loved me. Everything I knew to be true was wrong. You can't fix what's broken, you can only mend. I fell down on the couch looking outside the balcony window. I had a rather gloomy day and I was in a gloomy mood. At least Nightmare Night's tomorrow, Vinyl noted, sitting next to me. I perked up slightly. That'll be fun. You know what I'm going to be? You didn't tell me you were dressing up, Vinyl frowned. Because it was a secret. No, you said dressing up was for little foes, and I said... I ran out without another word, digging around my closet. Wait until she sees this. You ready? Just show me hot tea, Vinyl giggled. With a flourish and a bow, I came out of the hallway. A black cape with red lining draped around my body, and a pair of fangs hung from my mouth. Bleh! Really? She laughed. Really? One gorgeous mare in the room, I said, and made me for the finished sentence. Ha ha ha! I spat the plastic fangs out. And you can go as yourself. What? Oh, I get it. Your face is scary enough as it is. All right, final chapter for tonight, 11. What a fright. Canterlot felt silent, and for the first time I felt at peace. Things were calm. I didn't have to think about anything, answering phone calls. I was in my own world. A lazy afternoon with gloomy weather and cloudy skies, the kind you try to avoid by staying inside. The weather was dark and strangely appropriate considering the celebration the next day, and it set the mood for me to brood for a bit. What to do about life and love. How do you put up with everything? Do you take it in stride? Do you just let the big bad world close in on you and corner you until you had enough, at wit's end, about to give up, fed up with the way things were going? It looked like it was going to rain, and for a while it did. For that brief hour, as droplets of rain began to fall from the heavens, I sat there in our cozy, lived-in apartment, watching the water slide down our window, washing away the dirt and grime. Content with just listening, I rolled onto my back, staring at the ceiling, closing my eyes for a spell. Across from me, lounging on the other couch, was Vinyl. Her eyes closed as she listened to her music. Though she wasn't sleeping, she too was brooding, thinking about things for once. I could tell by the way her forehead was scrunched up, like she was concentrating. What makes you think, Vinyl Scratch? What goes on inside that pretty little head of yours? The worst part of it all was that I couldn't even content myself with knowing that I never had a choice. I had a choice, but chose not to take it. I could have stayed away from her, never moved in with her, never fell in love with her. Like all the bad choices in my life, they came back to bite me. And sometimes, at least in one instance, literally. I heard the sound of footsteps. Sitting up, I saw Vinyl was going out, donning a pair of purple sunglasses exactly like the ones I broke. Time for work, I yawned. Yeah, having a good dream? Before this week, my dreams consisted of me, alone on the stage, with a single spotlight and a sea of faces in Blue Blood Concert Hall, poised with a cello, eyes closed as I let the music take a hold of me. My dream was to play my very own composition. But it seemed I was doomed to perpetually perform in my little quartet at balls and weddings and galas, playing background music for nobles who needed a little atmosphere and a drink to gossip and fritter away their money. Now it seems like I didn't dream at all. What I did, it was us, together on a stage, performing a fusion of club and classical music. An idea I entertained with Vinyl, who suggested it in the first place. My dreams were quick to turn into nightmares. I'd see her, moss-stained and red, eyes strung out, bloodshot, her veins about to sink into my... If you can call it that, I said wryly. We don't want to think about that now, can we? Go back to sleep, she said softly before closing the door. An entire evening to myself. No one around. I stood up, twisting my neck and stretching, soothing out my disheveled mane. I felt drawn to the case in the far corner of the room. It had been days since I touched it. Snapped open the latches. I admired the craftsmanship. Polished, gleaming wood, suit smooth and heavy. After a bit of tuning, I sat down, bow poised. The piece that began to play was of my own, the soundtrack to my life. Slow, brooding notes, long and lingering in the air, ominous and foreboding. Flexera saying, Vinyl needs to buy some fake teeth to hide the fangs. She can actually hide it herself. It's one of those instances of fangs being able to grow out and then retract to normal teeth. My hoof faltered. The bow screeched across the strings. My concentration snapped and I frowned, sending an instrument down. I wasn't thinking straight. What was I so worried about anyway? I wasn't a monster with a constant desire to feed off with others for their blood. No, not a monster. Somewhere in the middle of my billionth time trying to flesh out the notes of my composition, I heard the door open. Oh, Monty, I'm home! Indeed, Vinyl was home, levitating a mysterious paper bag. What's in the bag? Close your eyes, she said. I stared. Close your eyes, no peeking. I giggled, doing as she asked. Okay, now look. Vinyl stood before me, dressed up in her Nightmare Night costume. Silk cape, black with red lining, like mine, draped over her back. A pair of very real fangs hung from her mouth. Chest was stained with fake blood, sticking and dry. Ta-da! I clapped my hooves in applause. Very nice, I said. Now we can be vampires together. I laughed. Yes, yes. Everybody would love us. And man, once we start making out, what? All the stallions will be all over us. Vinyl, we're not going to make out. She pouted. Everyone loves lesbian vampires. I yawned. What time is it? 1 a.m? I was kind of surprised you were still awake, she said, taking off her costume. What were you doing? Just some music. I'm gonna hit the hay. After a long hot shower, Violet came out of the bathroom, sweating and warm. Her mane was damp and coat silky. She toweled herself off, slipping underneath the covers and sliding up next to me. After a few moments of tossing and turning to get comfortable, we found a comfortable position where I held Vinyl, my hoof idly playing with her hair. For a while, I struggled to keep my eyes open, my head nodding off before I slumped into bed, snoring the night away with her. It was the kind of sleep where you didn't dream. Almost as if I closed my eyes, I stared into the darkness, and then opened them a second later to find the sun was up. It was daybreak. Tangled limbs, tangled hair. We shifted, twisting and rolling away from each other. I squealed as she encircled me with her arms. It was impossible to describe the way it felt. Perhaps if your mother actually loved you and gave you hugs, you would understand. It was the indescribable feeling of having someone touch you, squeeze you, hold you. That feeling of fuzziness and warmth as they reminded you that they were there. Good morning, princess. I laughed, pushed her away from me. Don't call me that. I hate cutesy-wootsy names. Rubbing a sleep out of my eyes, I rolled over. 11 o'clock. My new record. I'm sleeping in later and later. Nothing wrong with that. Besides, it's nightmare night, she squealed. I grabbed her pillow and smacked her with it. It's all your fault. I used to wake up at 5. Oh, don't remind me. Mornings were so depressing with you playing the cello of yours. I was disciplined, organized, I ranted jokingly. Now I'm a mess. A very sexy mess. I mustered up the strength and willpower to drag myself out of bed and into the bathroom, hopping into the shower eagerly. Fuck. Hang on. Ugh. There you go. Eagerly. Hot water cascaded over my body. My mane wet and loose, falling over my face and neck. I hummed a tune idly as I stood, my eyes shut as I let the warm water soothe me. I heard another voice hum along with me, purring in my ear. I love it when your mane is down. My eyes snapped open. Final Scratch, what are you doing? I screeched, glaring at the mirror standing in the bathtub next to me. Well, we can't shower together? What? No! Out! Oh, you're no fun. Out! Vinyl had to hold an ice pack to her head woozily. You sure know how to buck, Octi. I stuck my tongue out at her. You deserve it. Wait, did she hit her? Oh no, he didn't even describe her. It basically implied off screen Vinyl got bucked hard. She rolled her eyes, clearly faking her injury. We're leaving in a bit. Where are we going? Ponyville, you know how kind of it is. Half the ponies around here are too cheap to hand out treats. If we must. It'll be fun. Now come on, go get dressed. We were quite decided as we left our apartment. 2 ghastly-looking vampires drenched in blood with sunken eyes and canines. We received all kinds of attention as we made our way to the train station. Some gazed upon us with scorn and amusement. My idol made faces at the ponies passing by. Who would ever guess their fangs were real? The sun was slowly dimming as it made its descent into the horizon. At the same time, the moon was rising to take its place. And it's a full one. I looked up at the sky thoughtfully, breathing in that fresh, crisp air. The wind whipped past my mane as I stuck my hand outside the window, granting me a gorgeous view of equestrian countryside. Rolling hills of green grass, dotted with flowers in bloom. And there was whitetail wood of orange and yellow trees, some of the branches starting to lose their leaves as the season approached winter. You've been quiet. I've been thinking. About? Final asked. things, I teased. My mind had been occupied as of late. I was thinking of all sorts of things. About vinyl, us, the thing about vampires, or which ponies I knew who could potentially be one. Thinking of a secret world kept hidden from the rest of us normal ponies. A bit for your thoughts, I harumphed. It'd take a lot more than that to get me to spill. The train came to a gentle halt and she and I got off. Ponyville was quaint, rather homely in my humble opinion, old-fashioned, though charmingly rustic. The entire village had been redecorated with cobwebs and toy spiders and Nightmare Night decorations. On the boarding platform were 4 other ponies that I recognized immediately. Vinyl, Lyra called, waving us over. Vinyl galloped, pulling me along. Hey guys, ha! Nice costumes. Bonbon and Lyra donned sunglasses, fedoras, and tailored black suits. Carrot Top appeared to be a devil from Tartarus, complete with horns and a tail, and a wicked long coat and shoes. Derby Hooves is... I see it's plastic this year, Vinyl remarked. She was wearing plastic bags on top of her head and on her hooves. She clapped her hooves together with delight, her eyes crossed. Yay! Bonbon and told, we're on a mission from Celestia. With Lyra chiming in, 106 miles to Manhattan, we got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes, it's dark, and we're wearing shades. Lyra and Bonbon, the blues ponies! I stared. I don't get it. Oh, come on. Octavia. The Blues Brothers, man. Oh. Shit. Final slapped her forehead. My sentiments, exactly. Lyra pulled off her shades, her eyes half-lidded and suggestive. So are you two, together? I gave Vinyl a peck on the cheek, smiling as I saw Lyra squeal. We made our way to town square, laughing and conversing as Lyra began asking if Vinyl was a good kisser. Ponies around us gasped as they saw DJ Pony murmuring amongst themselves, and then suddenly, "Sup, AJ?" Applejack, the element of honesty, all dressed up as a scarecrow. Fucking hell. Well, howdy there, Vinyl. Don't tell me you're moving back, she gasped in mock horror. Twilight would have a fit. Vinyl snickered. Man, she hated it when I blasted my tunes. Had to crack of dawn, Applejack added. Who's your friend? Octavia, I said smoothly. Pleased to meet you. AJ gave me this funny look. Ah, shoot, don't call me miss. Oh, yeah, she addressed her as Miss Applejack. Ah, shoot, don't call me miss. It makes me feel old. Hanging around Vinyl now? I nodded, glancing down at the tub of water. What's this? Don't tell me you never bobbled for apples before, Octi. My mane will get wet, I protested to no avail. I sucked in and closed my eyes. I dunked my head underwater. I resurfaced, an apple in my mouth. Vinyl leaned in, taking a bite of the apple as it was in my mouth, and I blushed faintly. Lightning then cracked and thunder boomed. I gasped in fright, shrinking as I saw black ominous swirling clouds begin to loom overhead, casting a dark shadow over Ponyville. Maniacal laughter echoed, striking fear into my heart. A black carriage descended from the heavens, pulled by 2 fierce-looking bat ponies with glowing yellow eyes and webbed wings and fangs. It's Nightmare Moon! Every pony run! Everybody around screamed. I felt compelled to scream, trying to track Vinyl to safety, but she was grinning. Woo! She called. Vinyl, run! What for? It's Nightmare Moon! She laughed, yanking me back as I tried to run. I gasped as I saw the pony inside the carriage fly off, cackling. Her hood fell off, revealing a black creature of the night, clad in blue armor. She gazed upon us with slitted blue eyes, grinning toothfully, horns, wings, all black. Luna! 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 Everyone chanted. The crowd was definitely. Princess Luna? Foals rushed up to her, chattering and cheering, swarming at her. "Hello, Ponyville!" Princess Luna bellowed, laughing merrily. "It's Ponyville tradition, Auntie," Vinyl explained. "Come on, let's go meet her." "What? She's a princess." "So? We can't just trot up to her and say hi." She rolled her eyes. "Luna and I are tight, don't worry." Wait, Vinyl knew Princess Luna personally? "Hey, Luna!" Vinyl hollered. She turned her face as, finishing greeting the foals. I shrank in her gaze. "It's just a costume, Octavia. It's just a costume." "A very interesting costume you have there," Vinyl scratched, Luna said archaically, frowning slightly as she saw Vinyl's fangs and eyes. "Does she know?" "Thanks." "Charmed," I said nervously, sucking a hoof out. Luna shook, smiling, as I shivered. "So this is the famous Octavia," Luna remarked. "I've heard a lot about you." "You have?" I blurted. "What kind of things, Princess?" "Good things, I assured you, and please call me Luna," she said. "Do you like my costume?" "It's certainly authentic." She hasn't been paying attention to me. Instead, she looked right at Vinyl. I wasn't good at reading other ponies, but I could see that they were communicating in a very subtle manner. I tried not to make it apparent that I was staring. Princess Luna nodded shortly, only tilting her head slightly. Vinyl returned her nod. "Hey, Auntie, why don't you go get us some drinks?" Vinyl said, looking at the princess. Something fell off. I didn't like it one bit. Hadn't she come here for candy? "Of course, dearie," I said in a false manner, trotting away slowly as I kept my ears caned to them. I heard Luna murmur to Vinyl as they started to walk off. "You would do well to be more cautious, Vinyl. It's night by night, Princess. No ponies suspect." Of course, that was too far away. The initial crowd of Ponyville ponies had been rather sparse. After Luna's arrival, it began to thicken. On stage, a group of musicians began to play lively night by night themed songs as costume ponies danced around. I moved through the crowd, never taking my eye off of Vinyl and Princess, bumping into ponies rather rudely. "Where are you going?" I mumbled to myself. I could hear them talking rather lowly as we neared the edge of Ponyville. They crossed over a bridge and headed towards the Everfree Forest? Why did they feel compelled to come first in such a dreadful place? I was going to get to the bottom of this. Somewhere in the distance, a wolf howled. I gulped, feeling rooted to the spot in the dirt path. I could see Vinyl Luna in the distance, already disappearing through the thick foliage of the Everfree. It was now or never. My heart raced with each step I took, jumping ever so often as I thought I saw something move in the bushes or dart behind me. The fog was thick, and I could barely see ahead. Creatures chirped and howled and hissed at me. Just stay on the path. Every so often they would turn around. I'd freeze, my heart pounding as their eyes scanned for something. The path eventually ended, and we came to a clearing, a statue in the center of Nightmare Moon. I ducked underneath foliage, peeking out from the leaves, staying back near the trees as I eavesdropped on their conversation. "And this Octavia, does she know?" Vinyl said nothing for a moment. "Yes," Luna sighed, pressing a hoof to her temple. "Please tell me that you didn't. One thing led to another, and I might have accidentally bitten her. Anything else you'd like to tell me? Her mom and dad came to a visit? We're going to have to deal with her." My heart stopped. Oh, sweet Celestia, what did he mean by that? Deal with me? How are they going to deal with me? Time to go, time to go. Heard enough! I cringed as my hoof snapped a branch under hoof. Luna and Vinyl fell silent. "It seems we have an uninvited guest," Luna said rather loudly, her voice devoid of any warmth. "We do not appreciate prying ears." They knew. "Oh, fuck me!" Okay, never mind that. "Oh, fuck me!" We've been tailed. I backed away slowly, gasping what felt my rump bump against some pony. I turned around, whipping as I came face to face to Luna's royal guards. "Hi!" Their expression was humorless as one of them bit my cape and dragged me to Vinyl and Princess Luna. I felt like a fool about to be punished. I grinned sheepishly. "Trick or treat? Octavia!" Vinyl groaned. "Full name, serious business. You're screwed." "I won't tell a soul, I swear. Please don't hurt me." Luna's eyes flashed red, and I watched in horror as her canines grew. Luna is also a vampire! At this point, I started to get a little jaded. Nothing surprised me anymore. Probably be easier to count how many ponies I knew who aren't. How far does this go? When will it end? I wrenched free from her guards, running for my life, not caring that I was venturing deep into the depths of the evergreen forest. After her! Auntie, wait! I heard Vinyl call. Where to hide? Not the beliefs in trees. A cave! It's a cave, Octavia! Are you insane? Too freaked out to care. Into the cave we go. I always wanted to go spelunking. Jesus, Octavia. I darted in, scrambled in, lay low as I listened, holding on to my breath, trying to still the pounding of my head. Something snarled behind me. The dawning moment of apprehension hit me like a buck to the face as my eyes widened in terror. I stumbled into the den of a wolf. Wonderful, just wonderful. Nice doggy, I whimpered. I scrambled back, never taking my eyes off the creature staring back at me. It barked and growled, and in the blink of an eye, it lunged at me. I could have done so many things. As I felt its jaws clamp down on my rear leg, sinking its jagged teeth deep. I could have screamed, cried. My brain could barely process the pain as I stared at the thing biting me. This was no wolf. This creature was pony-shaped, a coat long and matted like fur. Its eyes were glowing yellow and feral. There was a wet black nose on its muzzle. I was unable to form words as I stammered, trying to pull my leg from its mouth in vain. Leave her alone, a rough voice shouted. It released my leg, and I scrambled away, but not before its claws raked over my side, leaving several bloody gashes. I think I might have broken a rib. Vinyl's horn glowed. Oh, it's Vinyl! Thank God! Doing something. I didn't know. I don't care. Whatever it was making it back off. Looking back, I could see it was retreating deeper into the cave, turning around and slinking off into the cave. Auntie! Auntie, speak to me! Vinyl cried as she cradled me. I couldn't stop shaking as I tried to speak. Feeling paralyzed. Body was going numb. I felt cold. Everything was sliding out of focus. 1, 2, 3 Vinyls? Oh, hi, Luna. How's your night going? The guard's doing a great job there. Keep up the good work. Wow, is that all my blood? She's been bitten! This is no ordinary bite, Luna said gravely. My last thoughts as I passed out were sardonic. As far as I was concerned, I donated enough blood for the rest of my life. And that ends chapter 11. I wonder, given the clues, was she bitten by a werepony, and if she could become one? Werepony confirmed, says Plexir. I bet so. Let me look ahead to the future chapters. Ooh, we're going to have to deal with a lot. Ooh, boy, I hope Vinyl didn't get turned into a werepony. This will be fucked up. But, yeah, here's where I should cut it off. This has been a lengthy-ass stream.